Salam Sejahtera and Salam Malaysia Madani. A very good evening to Yang Pembahagia, Dato' Wira M. Osman bin Tai, Secretary General of the Ministry of Housing and Local Government. Yang Pembahagia, Tan Sri Wong Fuk Meng, Chairman of the Star Media Group. Mr. Chan Seng Fat, Group Chief Executive Officer of Star Media Group. Yang Berbahagia, Tan Sri Sir Dr. Jeffrey Chia, Founder and Chairman of Sunway Group. Senior government officers, Yang Berbahagia Tan Sri, Puan Sri, Dato, Dating, ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests. It is an honor to speak before the industry's finest as we celebrate the 10th anniversary of the Star Property Awards 2025 Gala Dinner. Tonight, we recognize the visionary leaders who have helped to shape Malaysia's property landscape and applaud the property developers for redefining what is possible in real estate industry. Like everyone here tonight, we understand that the fortunes of the property development sector are deeply intertwined with the broader economy and naturally subject to its fluctuations. Over the years, the industry has weathered its share of highs and lows. Yet, 2025 is shaping up to be a promising year, buoyed by strong performance in 2024 and a positive start of this year. As mentioned earlier by Group CEO Mr. Chan Seng Fat, Malaysia recorded its highest property transaction in terms of volume and value in a decade last year, with total transaction value rising by 18% to 232.3 billion last year. This strong performance was driven by factors such as political stability, favorable government policies, and rising investor confidence. In 2025, Malaysia's property market is projected to maintain steady and healthy growth, with a targeted transaction value of 200 billion ringgit. Ladies and gentlemen, with rapidly growing urban populations, aging infrastructure, and increasing land scarcity, Malaysia, no exception, we are also facing an urgent need to rejuvenate old, dilapidated, or underutilized properties in our cities. We must avoid the tales of the two cities, as stated by Charles Dickens, where one part of the cities are for the rich and famous, and another part of the cities are for the poor and helpless. At the Ministry of Housing and Local Government, we are aiming to table the long-awaited Urban Renewal Act, or Akta Pembaharuan Semula Bandar, this year. The bill comprises three key components, which is urban redevelopment, urban regeneration, and urban revitalization, aiming to bring down the consent threshold from the current 100% to 80%. Ladies and gentlemen, DBKL has identified 139 urban renewal sites in Kuala Lumpur, with an estimated gross development value. If we measure the whole countries, the total sites has been earmarked is 534 areas, which promise a gross development value of 355.3 billion. Just 2 weeks ago, I conducted an expedition with members of parliament to inspect several dilapidated buildings firsthand. What we witnessed was deeply concerning. Some housing areas were in alarming condition with mold infestation, damaged rooftops, broken lifts, and other serious structural issues. Through the Urban Renewal Act, we aim to streamline the urban renewal process in order to ensure that the rights of property owners are well safeguarded while simultaneously improving the living environment and revitalizing the local economy in deteriorating urban areas. As a matter of fact, urban renewal is one of the agendas we intend to highlight in Malaysia's bid at the UN Habitat General Assembly, which is going to be held in Nairobi end of this month. And we are pleased to announce that Malaysia is now the front runners to be the president of UN Habitat. Should Malaysia be elected, we will be at the forefront to shape not only the domestic but also the global policies on sustainable development, urban renewal, and even circular economy. Ladies and gentlemen, on the other hand, we are also mounting the Building Managers Act to address the chronic issue of poor property and building management across the country. Currently, there are only 594 firms licensed to practice property management, serving 26,334 strata schemes, or 2.91 million units of strata properties in the country. In other words, on average, each firm is responsible for managing 44 strata buildings, or average about 5,000 units each company. This highlights a serious gap where there are insufficient licensed firms to effectively manage all existing strata schemes. As a result, many property owners and tenants face significant challenges due to declining property values caused by poor property management. This reflects our ministry's holistic approach to urban challenges. On one hand, we are establishing legal frameworks to facilitate urban redevelopment in aging and dilapidated areas. On the other hand, we are also addressing one of the root causes of urban decay, that is poor building and property management. Ladies and gentlemen, as modern living trends continue to evolve, we are seeing an increase of mixed development that incorporate retail, commercial, so forth, and so on components. These type of properties are not covered under the current Housing Development Control and Licensing Act 1966, which is limited only to residential development. In response to the latest development trend, the Ministry of Housing and Local Government is planning a new law known as the Real Property Development Act to modernize and broaden the existing legal framework. A key reform proposed under the Real Property Development Act is the inclusion of certain commercial development, such as strata shop lots, office suites, and small-scale commercial projects. This is to ensure that buyers of these units receive legal protection equivalent to that afforded to residential home buyers. In addition, the Real Property Development Act aims to streamline the process for both buyers and developers by incorporating the option to purchase (OTP). This will introduce a more formalized and efficient mechanism for buyers to exercise their right to purchase a property. The option to purchase framework will also allow the termination of the sales and purchase agreement by the buyers if they are dissatisfied with the progress of the development, thereby enhancing consumer rights protection and also ensuring a greater accountability in the industry. Ladies and gentlemen, aside from strengthening legal frameworks, the Madani government has also intensified efforts to address the long-standing issue of sick and abandoned private housing projects. As of March this year, our ministry, through the Special Task Force on Sick and Abandoned Private Housing Project, has successfully revived and rescued 1,044 private housing projects nationwide, with a combined value of 100.1 billion ringgit, benefiting nearly 125,000 innocent home buyers. Meanwhile, our ministry is also taking proactive measures to safeguard the housing sector amid ongoing global economic uncertainty and heightened geopolitical tensions. We are currently developing the framework for the Home Ownership Campaign 3.0, aimed at cushioning potential economic impacts and sustaining the market confidence. With the national home ownership rate currently at 76.9%, the ministry is committed to supporting prospective buyers and preserving the stability of the housing market. These initiatives are expected to be unveiled in the lead up to the first ever ASEAN Real Estate Summit, which will take place from 23rd to 26th July this year at Kuala Lumpur Convention Center. Distinguished guests, as we move forward, I am excited to witness the innovation that will continue to drive the Malaysian real estate industry. The exchange of ideas among the dynamic professionals in this room will propel our industry to new heights. I'm always very proud to inform everyone, despite the fact that Malaysia is yet to win the first ever Olympic gold medals, but Malaysia's real estate developers has made us proud by winning 35 FIAPSI World Gold medals. This shows that those who are sitting in these rooms are indeed world class. Congratulations, Syabas dan Tahniah. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to extend my heartfelt congratulations to all the nominees and winners tonight. Kata pepatah Melayu, yang baik dijadikan teladan, yang buruk dijadikan sempadan. You are set exemplary standards and playing a vital role in our national mission to deliver quality homes and properties to the people of Malaysia. As I always say, real property sector is a very meaningful industry. On one hand, you raise the living quality of the home buyers by providing decent home. On another hand, you are actually also making some decent profits that spur the growth of the national economy. That's the reason why we view with grave concern and always support the real estate properties. But let me remind you, as the candidate of UN Habitat President, I would like to hope that Malaysian developers, when you build buildings for the home buyers, always remember, the building is not built by beams and bricks, but the building is built for hopes and dreams. That humanity must be at the center of the development agenda. Without humanity, without putting people's interests as the core, whatever profit generated will not be meaningful. So ladies and gentlemen, once again, your achievement tonight are a reflection of the hard work, creativity and passion that define our industry. I have no doubt that as we continue to collaborate and innovate, we will build a future where Malaysia's property market thrive, not just locally, but also on the global stage. So with this, let's have fun, celebrate the success, and continue to do well and make Malaysia proud. Sekian, terima kasih. 谢谢 dan terima kasih.